All right, so on the back of the paper where we're looking at our homework, we're going to work number 3 together. On this coordinate plane, the thing that makes this homework more challenging, are my graphs numbered by 1s this time? No, they're numbered by 2, 4, 6, and 8. All right, the other thing that makes this challenging, and I think it's because they put an O for the origin, but they ran out of room. They missed that first number in the negatives. What should that first number have been on the negative lines? Jacob?
2.
A negative 2. So if you would like to go ahead and write in that negative 2, so we don't forget, that number is located there. Okay? All right. We're finding the distance. So we're going to graph the points. Why is it important that I graph the 2 points? Jessica?
So that you can do your math on how far and if they cross and you draw the line.
Yeah, so I need to know if they're in the same box. If they're in the same box, what operation is that going to be? Subtraction. If they cross my Y line, or if they cross my X line, what does that mean we do? Addition. So if they are the same, we're going to subtract. If they cross, we're going to add them. Okay? So let's graph our C. So C's X is a negative 3. Now if you look on this X line, is there a negative 3 anywhere on there right now? No. So we've got to determine where would the negative 3 go. Ben?
In between 4 and 2.
In between the 4 and the 2. I'm just going to put a dash mark there. Did I put a dot? No. I just put a little tick mark so I remember, hey, my negative 3 is in between those 2 numbers. Okay. So there's my negative 3. I'm going to follow that down. What am I going down to?
6.
The negative 6. I'm going all the way down, and there is a line for that. So we can put a dot right there. All right, and that is point C. So I'm just going to put a little C there. Okay? So we graphed that one. Now let's graph D. When I graph D, again, it's at negative 3. I've already put a little mark there to help me remember. Now this time I've got to go down to negative 1. Uh-oh. I have no negative 1 on the Y. So where is that going to be? Addison? That's right. Yeah, it's going to be before the negative 2, in between that 0 and negative 2. If you want to put that little tick mark, that space mark, you can. So where these 2 space marks are, that's what I'm looking to see where they meet. They end up meeting in the very middle of a block. Y'all see that?
Yes.
They meet in the very middle of that block. I'm going to go ahead and put my dot there. And that's going to be my D, correct? All right. So now, let's go ahead and connect those. Because when I connect them, that helps me decide. Are they in the same quadrant? Or did they cross my X line or my Y line? Which one goes here? Are they in the same box or did they cross one of the lines? Noah? They're in the same box. So what that means is I'm actually going to have to subtract these 2 numbers. All right? So now let's figure out what 2 numbers it is that matters. Let me get my grammar right. Okay? So am I looking at these ordered pairs?
Yeah.
I have C at negative 3, negative 6. I have D at negative 3, negative 1. Now, if I'm trying to find the distance in between D and C, one of those coordinates doesn't matter to me. Which coordinate is it on both of those pairs that I don't care about? Brittany. The negative 3. Guys, can I find the distance between a negative 3 and a negative 3?
No.
No, a negative 3 and a negative 3 are in the same place. It does not help me find distance. What does help me find distance is knowing this one goes down to 6 and this one only goes down to negative 1. Okay? Now remember, in our vocabulary, what vocabulary word helps me find the distance? Jacob.
Absolute value.
Absolute value. So we're going to take the absolute value of the number that was left. So there's the absolute value of 6, which is 6. And the absolute value of negative 1, which is
1.
1. Again, I'm finding the absolute value because it tells me the distance. So now, what am I going to do with this distance that I got from C and this distance that I got from D? Jesse?
You're going to subtract them.
I'm going to subtract them. That's why I have this minus sign here. So I'm going to put the big number in front, 6 minus 1, which equals 5. So my answer, is it just 5?
No.
It's 5 units. All right? Make sure when you put that, we put a box around the specific part that is our answer. Because we did a bunch of different things in here. 5 units is our answer. All right? How can I check that? Ben?
Where your first dot is, where negative 3 and 1 is,
Mhm.
you count down to negative 3 and 6 and see how many spaces it's away. And
Okay.
it's 5.
So I like what Ben said. He said we can count it out. And I like how he said we're going to start at the top one. You can start at the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. But the cool thing about me starting at the top, it reminds me that these solid lines that are in there are actually counting by 2s, right? So if I start in the middle, to get to the line, is that 1 space or 2 spaces?
1.
So that would be 1. Then we're going to go to the middle, which would be
2,
2, then go to the line, 3, go to the middle, 4, go to the line, 5. Did that match my answer?
Yes.
Technically, do you have to do that?
No.
No, but since you have a test on this tomorrow, not tomorrow, Friday, it would be good to know how to check your answer to make sure it looks correct. Okay? Are there any questions about this first problem we just did that's on our homework?